G'day folks, just about to hop on a plane for a big adventure, but before I go I thought I'd like to introduce to you my latest book and my first artist book, photographic artist book. This is a Contemplation, Grasstree, done at the end of March this year. Grasstree is the property of where my brother Roger and his wife Lorraine live. It's 25 acres just south of Muswellbrook. When they first saw the place, it was virtually treeless. Presumably it was a cattle farm, something like that, and it was grass and a dam, not much else. They've significantly transformed the place over a number of decades since they first got it, and now it's completely unrecognisable from what it was. It's virtually been turned into a woodland through incredible physical and personal effort on their part to transform it. Sharon and I overnighted at Grasstree at the end of our painting course with Ross Laurie at the end of March. Really just a very quick visit before we headed home down to Canberra, and I spent about an hour walking around the property and photographing whatever I saw. Roger's spoken elsewhere about the impact of the current drought on the place, and I suppose that is kind of where I started photographically, and things went on from there. So naturally enough, first visit was to the dam, which of course is in a pretty bad state. So now I've got memories of that as being quite a nice deep swimming hole. It's no longer like that. And the story goes on from there as I moved through the place. What I often find in these kind of photo books is a lot of pleasure and a lot of fun in pairing images as two-page spreads. So I only have one image per page, and my intention is to put them together so that there's a resonance across the spread from one image to the next, and so it goes. There were some nice things that happened for me while I was doing the work, where virtually one scene after another all worked together visually and thematically, and so it's kind of almost like a very, very slow movie. So we have their solar panels, the connection with the grid, a bit of rust on the old power board, and then in terms of colour palette at least, the nice rusty colours on the trunk of that particular tree. In terms of the book production, it's been printed on my Epson printer on double-sided matte paper, one sheet at a time, to create the sequence. Each page has been scored at about 30mm mark to allow for reasonably easy opening of the book, so that you can appreciate the spreads, and the binding. Each page has been punched, and then front and back I've placed quite a thin sliver of timber, a bit of recycled timber from decking of the house next door, and they're held together with interscrews, so it all sort of holds together in a reasonably compact and sort of fairly tight kind of fashion. I mentioned that I sort of start off exploring I suppose the impact of the drought on the property, and so there's a fair bit of that, those kind of subjects explored in this little book. However, I did mention at the start that the transformation of the landscape into a forested woodland has been excellently achieved on that place. So I just felt it was important to include that coverage, so the story is it's not one totally of despair and longing for rain, and finish off with what I think is a nice, bright domestic scene, just to give the book a nice little punctuation mark at the end. Thanks for looking. This is a Contemplation, Grasstree, March 2019. Thanks for watching, folks.